Hey guys, this is QXC. For this is another game that I picked out of the Team Liquid replay analysis contest. Wow, that didn't come out right. For Nerdstomper.com. This game is a ZVZ on Metalopolis. We have Kelekkis, I think that's it, Kelekkis, versus Siege on Metalopolis. Siege, the red Zerg, Kelekkis, the blue Zerg. So spawning in close aerial positions, the Overlords are going to high-five in a moment here. Each game that was selected for this contest came up, had some kind of description for it, for why it should be chosen. Fortunately or not, I don't actually remember the description for any of them, so I will be just as surprised as you as to why this is a great game. So double extractor trick here. Building 2 extra drones, cancels, put the drones back on mining. Siege opting for more conventional play here, getting the earlier Overlord. So if we take a look at the income tab, Kelekkis is actually up 2 harvesters, although he cannot produce any because he does not have that Overlord right away. And now Siege going to retake the harvester lead. Is that really worth it? You know, I'm not sure. The harvester trick takes about 7 minerals, I think, 25% of 25, 6 or 7. So we're going to see a hatch first play, and Siege should be aware of that. He does not see a spawning pool in the main, so he's going to follow up with his own hatchery first. If we take a look at the harvester count, Siege is actually up by 2 harvesters at this point. Oh, one harvester. And both players getting the spawning pool pretty soon here. Oftentimes in ZVZ, you can maximize your economy by waiting until your opponent puts down their spawning pool and then putting yours down 15 or 20 seconds later. That'll give you plenty of time to defend, and then that drone that would be building the spawning pool gets a little extra mining time. The effect, I'm not sure how effective it is in StarCraft 2, just because when the spawning pool finishes, you get a queen, and the queen helps your economy. And so that might offset the fact that your drone is mining a little bit less time. So Kelekkis going for the slightly earlier gas here, and has not started his queen quite yet. The second hatchery is finished. Neither player is getting the queen right away. So one thing, Siege not doing a very good job of spending his money right now. It's almost 500 minerals, only 4 minutes into the game. So we see double queen out of both hatcheries here. And Kelekkis actually skipping queens in order to go for very early Zerglings and very early roaches. Pretty risky strategy right now. He's really screwing his economy pretty hard in order to make this happen. And Siege does see the Zerglings move out, so he should have plenty of time to build units to defend. He's a little, you can definitely see he's a little slow on getting his own Zerglings out. The spine at the front and the queen is out. But it's not too big of a deal. This is why early aggression in ZVZ, when your opponent can see what you're doing, can be very tough. If these had been speedlings, I don't think Siege would have had enough time to build enough units to see them coming, but regular Zerglings, the Overlord saw them right as they left the base, giving Siege plenty of time to actually defend. And now Siege is going to take off in his economy. As long as he doesn't make any large mistakes here and doesn't lose his army, he should win pretty decisively. Mostly because Kelekkis' queen, one queen that he's building, is extremely late. And his fast layer means that he's not building a queen out of his main hatchery. Siege is actually, let's see, what is his larva going to? Production tab here. Making a number of drones, a couple of roaches, getting the second geyser up. Oddly enough, neither player actually controlling the watchtower. the one relevant one. Obviously, more map vision is always good, but this is the most important one just because that's the likely path that units are going to be taking. So Kelekkis is going for the early movement speed buff for roaches, and just kind of sitting tight here. He's finally getting his second queen out really late. Notice neither player is opting to spread tumors towards the other. Generally, tumors help those units that are particularly slow off creep, such as Hydralisk. So if either player was planning on doing Hydralisk heavy play, ideally they would want to be spreading creep towards the other person. So notice how Kelekkis takes about 8 Zerglings and just throws them away. Maybe to scout, maybe to see if he could do any damage, but once he saw that his opponent had the same number of Zerglings, there wasn't really going to be much he could do. If he wanted to scout, just send 1 or 2 instead of losing 6 for no reason. So the early Overseer comes out, having done something, I think I missed something cool. Because I'm pretty sure they don't spawn with only 20 energy. Okay, he dropped a Changeling. So fast forward a little bit, and the Changeling must have died. I do not see it on the map anywhere. So here we see Siege taking a decisive economic advantage, up 9 Harvesters here, and starting to make multiple Overseers along with his Roach army. Roach speed finishing not pretty soon, about halfway done. Kelekkis, actually having rushed Roach speed out, is ready to move out already. If we take a look at the relative army counts, Siege actually has more units in his army. I don't know if Overseers count towards army. See, 10 Roaches, 8 Zerglings. So again, when your opponent has very good vision of what you're doing, it's really hard to make these very aggressive, all-in kind of strategies work. Siege had been floating an Overseer around Kelekkis' base for a number of seconds, maybe even minutes, and so when Kelekkis started massing Roaches, Siege realized this. He masses Roaches just in time to fend off the attack, and now because Kelekkis got those late queens, has fewer drones, he's having a really hard time actually staying even. So Burrow Tech would be really useful right here to heal up some of these Roaches, and Siege could also take advantage of the fact that Kelekkis does not have an Overseer to abuse the burrow ability of the Roaches. So one main thing to note, Kelekkis' money started to get a little bit high, but it's dropped back down. I'm not sure if +1 armor is better than +2 weapons. I think you actually want to get the +2 weapons, and I'm a little surprised that neither player is going for Hydralisk. The number of Roaches is starting to get to the point where they can't all effectively attack in concave, particularly since this is the choke where most of the battles are going to take place, and so it's going to be very hard to flank or get around or get a big concave going. So if we look at the relative armies, Siege vastly outnumbering his opponent, and Kelekkis falling back. Siege actually contaminating the hatchery and preventing these units. The larvae still build, but it prevents the inject from going off. Whoops. And Kelekkis actually engaging these battles, kind of hard to see who's winning. Neither player actually using Burrow. Just kidding. Siege using Burrow. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. When you get to tier 2 and your opponent's going Roaches, you have to start getting Overseers. At least one with your army to deal with this. And Kelekkis definitely overextended himself there. I'm not sure why he started to move towards his opponent's base. And so Siege using Contaminate, over and over and over to prevent his opponent from actually producing as many units as he'd like. You can see Kelekkis' money is up at the 2,000 mark. And then using that in conjunction with a big roach timing attack to just overwhelm his opponent with superior numbers. Kelekkis really needed earlier queens, needed to get these overseers out of his base somehow, just giving his opponent too much vision, while he on the other hand did not really know what Siege was doing most of the time. And the economic difference kind of evened out, but early on it was pretty significant. And that is that QXC over and out.